All right, all right, all right. What's going on, everybody? This is Mike. We're about to kick things off in a second here. Give me a moment to get some things ready. Un segundo. Um, I forgot to put the description. That kind of sucks. Yeah, that's fine. That is fine. That is fine. What's going on, everybody? If you could hear me, say what's up. If you could hear me, say what's up in the comments. Definitely want to make sure that everything is configured properly. I'm doing things a little bit differently here. So let me know if you're able to hear me. Let me silence my phone. Let me put myself in Do Not Disturb. So for anybody hopping on here, we are gonna be having a discussion about generating leads for your online store. So we're gonna have a discussion about capturing more prospective customers for your online store. So if you're selling stuff online, you're promoting stuff online, you have products that you're selling online. I want to talk to you a little bit about philosophically how to do that a little bit better. What's going on, Fritz Herbert? What's good? What's good? Love it, love it. So I'm gonna wait for a few more people to hop in here. I'm not sure how many people are gonna hop in, primarily because not many people join like when it's inside of a group. But hey, we will see where we go with that. And I'm gonna just, I didn't write the actual description in the post. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that I just have the presentation up and running throughout this live. All right. So if at any point in time you see something that I'm describing that it's not up on the screen, let me know, because sometimes I have some trouble bouncing back and forth. So just to kind of kick things off, and to sort of introduce myself. My name is Mike Felix, full stack marketer, and founder of Guerrilla Launch and author of Mastering the Art of Social Selling. I've spent the past going on 8 years working with small business owners on helping them to create different assets to sell more online. And I love doing it. I do it full time. I'm not one of these people that, I work at, like I have a full-time job and I'm doing this kind of on the side. No, I do this full-time. Love doing it. Love coaching and empowering a lot of small business owners so that they could sell more, make more, be more, and ultimately do more online. All right. So for anybody that's on here right now, if you can, in the comments, just introduce yourself. Let me know what you do. And if you have a store, tag it so that if I do, do like a sort of an audit real time, I could use you as an example, only if you're comfortable. All right. So let me know who you are in the comments, and then we're going to get started in a second here. Okay. And I know how Facebook Live is, especially on a Saturday evening. Sometimes it can take a moment for it to get into people's feed. And I know that there are a ton of people right now that are out. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Give me 1 second here. I have somebody. All right. Physical therapist. All right. Dope, dope, dope. So are you selling any products? Do you sell any products? My company provides in-home physical and occupational therapy in Orange and Seminole County. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh, okay, here we go. All right. So I'm gonna jump right in here. Give me 1 second. And again, I'm doing this a little bit different than I normally do, just because last time I did this, I did it inside of the group, and I had like 10 people waiting to get into the group. So I kind of messed myself up. So, all right. So yeah, introductions. I briefly introduced myself. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. I do want to jump right into about online stores. Okay, so what is an online store? What's an online store? So for everybody who is on here, my hope is that you, especially during these times, you're realizing that digital provides you with a couple things. It provides you with a certain level of scalability. It provides you with a certain level of access, and it also provides you with a certain like extra methods to sort of grow your business. So one of the best ways to grow and scale is to create a mechanism to sell things online. So if you have an e-commerce store, or if you have an online place where people are making purchases, then you have an online store. Now, the biggest thing with having an online store nowadays is that behaviorally, it's dramatically different than how people shop traditionally. Okay, so traditionally, people used to go into a controlled environment, which is a mall. People would go inside of a mall, and they moved things around so that they could sort of psychologically get you to do certain things. They put stores in strategic places. They put different stands in strategic places. They made the signs strategic. Everything was strategic, but it was very controlled, primarily because they knew you drove there, you got out of your car, so you used gas to get there, you got out of your car, and you walked into somewhere. And now that you're in there, they need to guide you, to go to different places. Now, the reason why that was amazing was because you were in that space. You can't just press a button and exit the mall. That's not how it works, right? Like, you are in the mall, right? So, but now when you say, hey, I want to do things online, that's dramatically different now, right? That's a different space you're in now. If you bring somebody to your online store, they're one click away from forgetting who you are. Okay, they are one click away from forgetting who you are. So it is very important for you to sort of psychologically understand where people are, so that you can know how to best get them to purchase stuff from you. Okay, so in order to do that, you as an online store owner needs to have something known as a sales pipeline. So what does that mean, right? So what does it mean to have a sales pipeline? What it means is, give me 1 second. Let me just make sure everything is working here. What it means to have a typical sales pipeline is that you are moving people from one stage to another based off of where they are right now. So to clarify a little bit, I created this simple slide to outline what a typical sales pipeline could potentially look like on your online store. And again, give me 1 second. I just want to make sure that everything is good to go here, because the last thing that I would like is for a ton of people to be in here and no one is seeing what I am seeing. Okay, no, I think people are seeing it. Okay, dope. So if you have an online store, what is a typical sales pipeline? So the typical sales pipeline is this, and I segmented the pipeline based off of who these people are, or how I'm characterizing these people. Okay, so this is a typical pipeline. Typical pipeline is, you have a store and your store has visitors. The visitors, then you do something to turn those visitors into leads. After you turn those visitors into leads, you're then turning those leads into prospects. After you turn those leads into prospects, then your aim is to turn those prospects into customers. All right. So here's a brief example. All right. Just by the numbers. So here's an example of a pipeline. So you have an online store, 2,000 people hit your store website. 2,000 people hit your store website. Out of those 2,000 people, 100 of them turned into leads. Those leads were generated. Out of those leads that were generated, 20 of them inquired. They said, hey, I have a question or two. Then out of the 20 people, 5 people actually purchased. 5 people moved to the next phase, which is, I want to buy. So you might say, well, why do I need to go through all that as an online store owner? So the reason you have to go through all that is because of how I started this presentation off. I started it off by saying that the landscape or the environment that people are in when it comes to you having an online store versus if you had a brick and mortar store inside of a mall is dramatically different. People have already committed to being inside of the mall, so you're able to control their behavior a bit. It is very difficult for someone, not difficult, but the energy that it's going to take someone to leave your store or to leave the mall is a lot. They have to jump in their car. They have to walk to it. Then they have to use gas to get home. That is dramatically different than online, where leaving your store can be as simple as clicking a button. It could be as simple as clicking the home button on Facebook. It could be as simple as switching a tab. It's too simple. It's too easy to leave your store. So, in order to change that, you have to become very good at generating leads. All right. So, but here's the cool part about generating leads is that once you generate a lead, you're able to do some real cool stuff with it. All right. So, and I do want to say this as I'm going through this presentation. Please ask questions. I love questions. I would love for this to be a discussion more so than me like teaching a course. All right. If you want to take a course, I got courses for you, but I definitely would like to get your questions as we go through here. This also is not meant to be very long. So, I like brief lives. All right. So, there are a couple ways to actually generate leads. And I'm going to go through a few of them here. These are just a few of them. Okay. One of them is clickbait. So that is like, providing people with a reason to actually, and you know what? The clickbait in itself are some of the other things, right? So a download is also considered a clickbait. Discounts are considered clickbait. It is literally something that enticed you to take some type of action. Now, the reason I put clickbait is a little deeper than just you receiving something. The reason I put clickbait is because if you see an advertisement, for something and you visit a store, if you visit an online store, Facebook and Instagram provide you with the capability to retarget those individuals over time. It's called a Facebook pixel, and it's also called retargeting, a retargeting script. So anytime your website is loaded on a particular device, whether it's a cell phone or it's a computer where someone is logged into Facebook or Instagram, then you can automatically be retargeted. However, that is considered a lead being generated because that clickbait made the advertiser aware, or made you aware that that person had an interest in the reason you made them click in the first place. All right. So, clickbait, downloads. If you have an online store, let's say you sell sauces, right? Like sauces or spices and stuff like that. You can't always just tell people, get this sauce, buy this sauce, get this sauce, buy this spice, get these spices. That's not the best way to advertise, to people, primarily because, again, they're not in an online grocery store. If somebody goes to the grocery store, it's a little bit easier to sell them on spices because they're already in the grocery store. Leaving the grocery store takes a lot of energy. But if they're online, they come across your spice, you have to advertise in a way, or you have to market to them in a way that's going to get them to want to give you something. One way is a download. Imagine if you had a spice, you could say, hey, here's an amazing jerk chicken recipe, a jerk chicken recipe for the busy professional, right? Now, if that spice had everything needed to season up chicken to make it a jerk chicken, then that in itself is a download, right? But that recipe download, get this recipe for a jerk chicken for the busy professional. What do you think the main ingredient is going to be? It's going to be your spice. Hey, in order to do this, you need Mike's spice. You need Mike's spice to make this work, right? That is a good way to generate lead. And in order for them to get the download, they of course gave you their email address or something like that. Discounts. You can provide exclusive discounts to people first time visitors to your website, first time buyers, first time customers. You can provide them with discounts. Exclusive offers that can entail like if you buy this, then you'll get these other things as well. It's exclusive to the people who were promoted at that moment in time. Or it could be exclusive offers for people that are a part of certain things. So let's say you are a part of a club or something like that. That club or those people, if you're a part of something that has some form of identity to it, then they can receive an exclusive offer. But in exchange, you're giving something. Those leads are being generated. Training. So an example would be me, right? I work with small business owners on sales, marketing, design, development projects and stuff like that. And one big way that I generate leads is by giving little freebies and training and stuff like that. One of the recent things that I started doing was for people who are getting websites made. I have a little micro training on how to create a request for proposal. So if you think about it from a sales pipeline perspective, you come across some of my content, you want a website. My first thing isn't to say, hey, buy this website or get this website. Here's my packages. My first thing is to say, hey, you know what? In order for you to make a good decision, you should probably do this thing here. You should probably have this request for proposal. And so I train you on how to even buy. Typically, the trust that you would place into someone a lot of times would be in the person who is training you on the thing itself. All right, so that's one of the reasons why I generate leads that way. Give me a second. So training. So you can train people on how to buy from you or train people on different things associated or affiliated with what it is that you promote. All right. Last thing here is videos. So, and of course that could be considered training as well. But if you have a video that you would like to present to people, you could put that behind some type of lead generation mechanism in order to generate that lead. If someone makes a request for a video that is highly pertinent to what it is that you promote and sell, and it addresses a problem that they may have, you're able to characterize who that person is. A lead is ultimately you qualifying someone to determine whether or not they would be fit or suitable for whatever you offer, okay? That is a lead. And again, any questions that you guys might have, please drop it into the comments, all right? So I'm going to talk about meeting leads where they are, okay? So you got to understand these people are just that. They're people, okay? Like you have to know that, their mental state, how they're characterizing the problem that they have, their current buying patterns, their decision making, their objections, like how they rebut as it pertains to getting a thing, what they consider to be a low commitment, as well as what moves them, their incentives. All of that determines the best route to take in order to generate them as a lead. All right. So I'm going to talk about each one of these, and I'm going to give a few examples. So let's just take the mental state of a lead, right? Let's say me, right? And I'll use myself as an example. I don't like to use myself as an example too much, but when it comes to marketing, I know that I could have a discussion with somebody and I could say, hey, do you want to make more money? And they say, yes, absolutely. We engage in business. If I hit them up the following month and say, hey, would you like to make more money? They're going to say yes. Um, because the pursuit for profit is actually, that doesn't have too much of a glass ceiling to it. Now, if you have a problem in terms of finding somewhere to live, right? Um, if you recently bought a house, the mental state you're in as it pertains to your, like, how you feel about houses is not going to be the same as when you didn't have somewhere to go or your lease was running up, right? So how someone responds to an ad or a realtor wanting to have a discussion with them is going to be dramatically different based off of their mental state. Let's say someone is, like an example, like Fitzherbert Harry. He's a physical therapist. If I don't have parents, or if I am not in a position to need to need physical or occupational therapy, then the mental state that I'm in is not going to be the same as somebody who has elderly parents, right? It's just going to be different. So him providing information about, how to make sure your home is suitable for people who might need physical therapy or occupational therapy, or, how to determine whether or not you should do something, privately or through, the hospital or through your insurance. Like, all of those decisions, is my mental state is going to be different based off of where I am, the problems that your product solves. Henry Ford actually had a really good quote. He said, if I would have asked people what they needed, they would have told me a faster horse. And the reason why that resonates so much with me, as it pertains to me speaking with a lot of people who own businesses, is that many people who are marketing, a lot of times your clients don't know what problems they have. I actually reach out to a lot of people and I say, hey, did you, I'm gonna take a shot in the dark here, and I'm gonna make the assumption that your website isn't selling, or that your website isn't serving your business the way that you want it to. I'm gonna also make the presumption that, based off the fact that you're not doing too much stuff on social media, that you're relying very heavily on referrals, and you're relying very heavily on some of the other, like, organic means that you're marketing. I would know that as an experienced marketer, but in their head, they may not see a problem. So as a marketer, or as somebody who owns a business, it's very important for you to be able to characterize the problems that you're helping people solve by defining it in a way that's going to move them to see you as a solution. All right. Buying patterns, current buying patterns. I don't want to call it a joke. But the other day I walked out because I was going to record a video, and I couldn't record anywhere, primarily because, it was loud. And it was loud because there were landscapers all over the place. There's landscapers all over my neighborhood all the time. And one of the reasons why is because of the buying pattern of landscaping. Grass and plants are always going to grow. So imagine you're in an industry where their need is going to be ever present, because the problem is always there. So their buying pattern is going to be continuous. It's going to be perpetual. So if you're in an industry where the buying pattern is perpetual, then generating leads for that is going to be a little bit different than if it wasn't. If the average person is going to be buying, 3, 4, houses in their lifetime, and I'm talking residential, not investors, the buying pattern for real estate leads is going to be dramatically different for landscaping. It's going to be dramatically different for mobile detailing, dramatically different for even buying a toothbrush, right? So you have to understand what your buying pattern is, or what their buying pattern is, so that you can know how to characterize those leads and how to get them more effectively. Decision management. So let's say you're a wedding planner. Sometimes you're not the decision maker. Sometimes you got to figure out who the actual decision maker is. You got to figure out what makes them actually make a decision. And so at times that will determine, where you're kind of meeting people, where you're meeting them. You have to meet leads where they are, because you have to lead them to prospecting to be a prospect for your services. Objection management. Is, of course, you sort of having rebuttals and addressing objections that people might have. Low commitment options and incentives. So whenever you're looking to generate leads, a big thing is to ensure that you gauge what level someone is on in terms of how they perceive the commitment to get the solution you're offering. Okay. That's the reason why many people say, hey, download this free thing, get this free thing, free this, free that, because the commitment to getting something for free is very low. Now, if I was to say, hey, you know what, you want to watch this training, pay $70. Now that's a little bit different, right? Like that's like, hey, like, should I pay $70 to get that training, or should I pay $70 to watch this video, or should I pay $70 to get it? It's not always the best thing. Now, if I was to say, hey, get this thing for $1, that could still be relatively low commitment in order to get someone to generate a lead for something bigger that they might desire. All right, so you have to, in order to meet people where they are, you got to provide them with a low commitment option that's gonna again lead them closer to where you are. I remember my office space used to be located in the center of downtown Orlando. And it being located in the center of downtown Orlando, a lot of people had to make a choice. And the choice that they had to make was, hey, do I want to come meet him at his office and pay for parking? Right? Do I want to meet him at his office and pay for parking? But the cool part about that was that when people came to come see me at my office, or came to come see me and my business partner at our office, they were already making a commitment to have bigger commitments, because we already got them into the pattern of spending money to come talk to us. Okay? We already got them to make a commitment to come and spend money to come talk to us. That is huge. All right? Incentives, and again, what's going to move people to actually get you or provide you with insight into their interest in what it is that you provide. You could provide them with incentives. It could be joining a club, joining a subscription, being a part of something exclusive. All of that enables you to, move them or provide incentives for them to want to purchase from you. All right. So I'm going to open it up. I'm on here. I talk about leads, and I talk about lead generation all the time. I think I don't even know. I think a lot of people have trouble with understanding leads. A lot of people have a lot of trouble with regards to like characterizing leads and what to do with them and how to nurture them and what to, how to follow up and how to, really, take things to the next level. And I know it's difficult speaking to everybody, right? So Fitz Herbert, he's a physical therapist, right? Physical therapist, and he does occupational therapy and stuff like that. Somebody on here that might sell apparel, they're gonna have dramatically different, desires as it pertains to how you generate leads. But what I would like to do for anybody that's on here is I would love to get a little bit of information from you. All right. So I actually have, if you go to ihelpyousellmore.com, what it has is a simple questionnaire, and it's going to ask you a couple questions to enable me to provide you with a feedback video. So with that feedback video, that's going to enable me to, one, take a look at what you have, what you sell, and it's also going to enable me to provide you with a feedback video. What I used to do is I used to lead people directly to come and have a phone call with me. But you know what? A lot of people, they don't want to just jump right on the phone. Sometimes they're not even ready. So instead, I'm providing the option to to complete a very simple questionnaire, so that I can provide you with some of that feedback. So this is what the page actually looks like. When you come onto the page, this is me, saying, hey, I'm going to provide you with a feedback video. Once you hit let's get started, it's going to open up this form. And again, it's going to ask you a couple questions. It's going to say, what's your name? What's the best email address for you? And all right, let me just select that so that it can continue moving forward. What's the nature of your business? And, what are some of the different methods that you use to promote your business? And there are a couple different, there are a few other, based off of whether or not you put together a set of goals and objectives for your business, it's going to lead you a couple different ways. All right. So again, check that out. Would absolutely love to get your responses on there so that I can provide you with, sort of a feedback or a little bit of feedback for you. All right. So with all that said, anybody on here, do you have any initial questions? Any questions on here? I know I didn't have too many people on here. Shakana, do you think Facebook and Instagram ads are a good way to generate leads? The answer to that is going to be it depends. The answer to that is going to be it depends. So in my ebook, Mastering the Art of Social Selling, I walk through how there are 3 phases to getting people from who are you to where do I buy. And the first phase is attention. So with your question, you said, do you think Facebook and Instagram ads are a good way to generate leads? If your target audience's attention is on Facebook and Instagram, then yes, because that is where you're going to move them from the attention phase to moving them to making you relevant. That's what the R stands for, relevance. So attention, relevance, and trust. After you get someone's attention, you become relevant to them, and then you gain their trust. Now, Facebook is a multi-million, multi-billion-dollar company, not just because it gives you the ability to record videos and stuff like that. The reason it's such a big company is because Facebook is generating so much insight on people for you or for the advertisers that it enables you to hyper segment and target who you want to get in front of. So let's say you're selling life insurance, and this is up to you being very strategic, right? Let's say you're selling life insurance. If I know that the mental state that people are in for life insurance is going to be people that may have just gotten married or people who just had kids, I can target those people on social media. So I can just target people who just had a child or just mentioned that they were pregnant within the past 6 months. That is me leveraging Facebook's insight in order to hyper target and to provide special messaging to people who fall into a certain demographic and class. So the answer to that is, it's a very, very, very good place to generate leads, but it is up to you to be as strategic as possible to know how to kind of target them. It doesn't provide you much value if you're not targeting well, and it's also not providing you much value if you're not providing the right incentive or the right thing based off of what you're getting their attention for. All right. So no, it's an amazing place, but you got to be strategic about it. Any other questions? And again, I really would like, even in the video that I recorded for this, particular, from my I Help You Sell More page, I even mentioned, a lot of people, everybody has different objectives. They have different, aims. They have, they have different, methodologies behind. Like 2 people that have apparel companies are going to approach the growth of their apparel companies dramatically different. All right, Keisha, when using social media for marketing, how often should you post? So I like to say, that's a really good question. I like to say that when it comes to, and I'm going to put your question, I'm going to pin your question on here. I'm going to pin your question. Geez, hold on. Actually, I don't know if I could pin yours. That's odd. Yeah. All right. When it comes to how often you should post on social media, I have an 80-20 rule. I have an 80-20 rule when it comes to social media and posting and organic stuff. You spend 20% of your time creating content and then 80% of your time distributing it. And what that means is, that doesn't mean that you need 100% of new content and new posting. What that means is that when you create a piece of content, you should take that one piece of content and share it a number of times over a period of time. So for those that follow me, you'll notice that I'll create, let's say for this, right? I'll create a post about e-commerce and I'll share it to my page. Then in my calendar, I'll say, take that post and share it on Monday afternoon. And then take that post again and share it on Friday evening. and then take that same post again and share it the following Tuesday. Now, that is one post. That's one post, but it was distributed 3, 4, 5 times. Now, when it comes to what you create and when it comes to like how you distribute it, you have to make sure that you create something known as like evergreen content or evergreen post. So I don't put stuff on my post that say, like happy Friday or, hey, thank God it's Monday and stuff like that, because then I can't use it next Wednesday, or I don't say anything. I don't say stuff like good morning, well, no, because I'm going to be resharing that. I'm going to be recycling that post over and over again over the course of the next couple of weeks. With me, I will, somebody that needs sales stuff now is going to need sales stuff later, so with whatever you're promoting or with whatever you're generating leads for, it's important for you to spend more time sharing versus just posting. So going back to like, because I think a really cool follow-up to that question would be, should someone have some type of social media marketing calendar? And the answer to that is yes. I highly recommend that you have some type of calendar. If you would like one, let me know. I actually have a calendar download that I could send to you. And it's literally just something for you to plan out when you're creating and distributing content across your social media page. You again have to think about your audience, right? You have to think about your audience. So an example, like when I market, I know that Mondays people are very much driven. They're very much motivated on Mondays, sometimes because they're not very excited about their job. Tuesday, they're also excited. Wednesday, I'm sorry, people are busy with their thought and sentiment on what they have going on. Thursday, people are waiting for the weekend. Friday, they're damn near ready for the weekend. And then, of course, there's the weekend. So when it comes to when I promote things that are like motivational or things that are inspirational, I know that I'm only going to do that around Monday and Tuesday. In the middle of the week, I know not to post anything inspirational because people won't respond to it. The other thing to also take a lot of, and this probably is for another live. But when it comes to social media, you have to understand too that Facebook in itself serves as sort of this governor to who they present your content to. Okay, Facebook, just because you post doesn't mean everybody sees it. Okay. So Facebook determines when to make you relevant to people. So just because you post doesn't mean that like everybody on your friends list is going to automatically see it. Facebook, what they're doing, like an example, I'm going to share my screen here. And I'm actually going to share hold on one second. I'm going to share my primary screen here. So this is my timeline, right? This is my my timeline. Facebook, if you notice, if you scroll too fast, you see how it like kind of pauses for a second. You see how it pauses for a second? The reason Facebook pauses for a second is because the platform is making a million micro decisions to determine what is relevant to you at that exact moment in time. It's actually one of the reasons why. On your phone, if you're on your Facebook app or your Instagram app, every time you open the app, every time you open up the Facebook app, Facebook's gonna refresh to the top of your feed. And you might ask, well, why didn't it just stay where it was? The reason why was because it always wants to make sure that they're providing you with what is relevant to you real time. So if you didn't open your app in 4 hours, Facebook wants to refresh your feed so that they can start to make those micro decisions again. In the past, they let you open the app and you could kind of continue where you were at. That's not the case anymore. It's going to continuously refresh to the top of your feed so that they continue to make those micro decisions. Alicia's at the top of my feed here, right? I'm going to refresh. Now he's not. Now he's not, right? Like, and again, like, and you see how it says more posts? So now where's Alicia, right? Like I didn't engage with his post, and now it's way farther down on my feed, right? Now, this is not in some type of chronological order. This is based on how Facebook is determining your relevance, which is one of the reasons why, Brian posted this at 33 minutes ago. There's an ad. Mayor Demings posted this 5 minutes ago. So you might say, well, why didn't Mayor Demings' thing pop up before Brian Morse's thing? Well, the reason why is because Facebook believes that I'm going to be more interested in what Brian had to say because of this Princeton news than the mayor hosting a state of Orange County for COVID. Andre posted this 42 minutes ago. Barry posted this 45 minutes ago. This was posted 25 minutes ago. And then this is so as you can see again, and Jacoy, he posted this 10 minutes ago. Well, why wasn't this farther up? Well, because Facebook is making all of these micro decisions on what is relevant to me right now. All right. So again, I want to say, if you are interested in having me send you some more information, I'd love for you to go to ihelpyousellmore.com. Fill out that form. It's not long. It's very brief, and I'd love to provide you with some video feedback. And then from there, if you want to hop on a call, or if you want to do a video chat, I am 100% open to that. And you could let me know whether or not there's certain things that I could be a resource to you. All right. So, with that being said, continue to engage. You could definitely continue to engage, and let me know whether or not there's other questions that you would like for me to answer for you. And we'll take it from there. All right. So thank you very much for putting your email addresses in the comments. I'm going to send you that email as soon as possible here. All right. So take care, and I will speak to you soon. Well, actually, before I go, are there any other questions? Any other questions? I know there's only 2 people on here. Any other questions before I sign off here? Any questions? Questions. And my hope too is, I have an ebook. I have an ebook called Mastering the Art of Social Selling, and I have a discount code if you would like. If you have an interest in getting that, it's actually a digital workbook, so it has some activities in there. If you have an interest in it, let me know. And I'll send you some information on it. But one of the reasons why I really am creating some of this stuff, like ebooks and trainings and stuff like that, is because, you can't consume all of this information on a 1 hour, 45-minute live, so sometimes it does take you slowing down and you consuming something. Like an example, right? Like there's this guy, Dan Henry. I bought his book, and it's called Digital Millionaire Secrets. All of this information is not something that he is willing to sit down and talk to me about. Okay. Like, it's going to cost me $1 million to sit here and have him sit down and talk to me. So I buy his book so I can self-educate myself, and then I take some of his courses to, again, self-educate myself. So if you guys have an interest in consuming, like if anything that I'm saying is resonating with you, if my narrative and my messaging is, kind of resonates with you, and I'm saying it in a way that you understand and something that you believe can help you with your business, would love to have you, get my digital workbook. Again, I even have an option on the workbook where you can pay. You can get it for $1. You could get access to it for $1 right now, and then you have 48 hours to let me know if you want to keep it. If you want to keep it, keep it. If you don't, then you just click a button and you say, no, thanks, Mike. I don't wish to invest the full, $17 or whatever for it. And you don't get charged for anything else. So you paid $1 to have the ebook. But if you don't like it, you don't like it, right? But I haven't had any bad reviews. I've had a number of people say, hey, Mike, love the ebook. Can we hop on a call now? So now what I'm doing is all of the follow-up calls that I'm getting, or that I'm taking as a result of the ebook, I'm taking information from those follow-up calls and putting the lessons learned into the ebook. So I'm consistently updating the ebook, and I'm also going live like this to educate people as much as possible. All right. So let me know if you have an interest in that as well. Again, it's called Mastering the Art of Social Selling. It's a digital workbook. I'll send you guys that info. And again, thank you guys very much for hopping on here. I love doing this. I love seeing people win. So hit me up if you have any questions. All right. Take care.